Hi everybody, I hope you've had a great week and welcome back to Muggles and Mocha. As you can see, I have my coffee on a plate today because I just spilt it all over myself because I'm very clumsy. So yeah, this video is off to a great start. But today's video is super fun and super important because I'm releasing my official ranking of the Harry Potter books. So my favorite to my least favorite. I considered doing this for a while, but you guys know I wanted to wait and tell you what my favorite Harry Potter book was when we reached it. But after reading The Chamber of Secrets and thinking about how my thoughts on that book developed and changed, I thought it would be good to release a preliminary, like a beginning list, so that you guys can see what I think about the books before I start reading them again this time around, which I know we're already 2 in, but hey. It's only 2 that we've missed. Once I'm done reading the books again, we can take a look at that list and I'll tell you if my ranking has changed. Has my favorite book changed? It might, I don't know, we'll see. If you have just happened to stumble across this video, hello, this is Muggles and Mocha, and we're a Harry Potter book club who's going through every single Harry Potter book one chapter at a time. We're really breaking them down and digging into the meat of each book, and it's just been a blast so far. I also write articles about each chapter, and all of this can be found through my website, madisonkdarby.com. That's located in the description box below, so if you click on that link, it'll take you to my website. You can see what we're all about. My social media accounts are on there as well. I do have the rant stick today because I am prepared to defend my rankings, even though they are open to changing. I am aware that they might change, but I'll let you know why each book is placed where it is and the reasons behind that. And honestly, I would love to hear your opinions too and how you rank each book. So feel free to post your list down in the comments below, either if you're watching this on Facebook, on YouTube, on my website, wherever. I would love to see your ranking list and to see where we differ. And then of course, grab your coffee because that's definitely needed. I've drunk a little bit of this so it's not as full now, so hopefully I won't just like slop it all over me again. So without further ado, here we go. We're gonna go from my lowest rated to my highest rated, just to build the suspense. And when I say lowest rated, of course, I love every single book. So just because there's one that's in last place, it doesn't mean that the book is bad. I don't think any of the books are bad. I wouldn't be making a YouTube series about the Harry Potter books if I thought that. So I obviously like them all, and it makes me sad to have to put one on the bottom of the list, but it's where we are. Starting at number 7. And some of you guys may really disagree with this one. I have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And look, this is one of those where my feelings have changed because before I read them this time around, it wasn't at the bottom of the list. It is now. And that's simply because I think it was higher on my list before because it's the first book. It's where we meet Harry. We meet this cast of characters. We get the world introduced to us, and that's great. And I think that Rowling does a really good job of that. I've already, covered that book. So if you haven't gotten to see that yet, I do have a playlist of all of my videos for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone that are on my YouTube page. You can check those out. Yeah, I think that the book is written very well. But just compared to like the depth of knowledge we get from the rest and the character development we get in the rest of the books, this is just like the beginning stage. So that is why it is in number 7. Number 6 is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. As I even say it, like I'm kind of surprised I changed, but then again, I'm not. Let me explain. This one always used to be in last place for me because I felt like what it contributed to the book series as a whole just wasn't as important. Like even when put against the first Harry Potter book, of course that one's important because the world's getting introduced. But reading it this time around, you just have so much going on with Harry. I feel like it's when he really gets established. It's just like a strong main character for the series. You have his issues with Slytherin and Parseltongue and being put up against the rest of the school the way he is. He meets Tom Riddle for the first time and empathizes with him, and just the conversation that he has with Dumbledore at the end of the book and how that strengthens his character for the rest of the book series. I just said this. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot because I just made my review video of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and I talk about this a little bit there. But the conversation he has with Dumbledore about it's not your choices that make who you truly are, but it's your abilities. And I feel like I butcher that quote every time, but Harry in this book is really struggling with his identity. And, you know, does he have control over his own destiny? Does he have control over who he is as far as like, is he a good person? Are people born evil? Was he affected by, you know, Voldemort's attack on him in such a way that he'd never be able to overcome it? Therefore, Voldemort is in control of every single part of his life because of this attack. There's just a lot going on that young Harry has to deal with. And in the end, I feel like that quote from Dumbledore just really solidifies who Harry is for the rest of the series. We don't see him struggle as much with this anymore. I mean, we see him struggle with the similarities between him and Voldemort, but I think he just has a better grasp of the type of person he is and what his actions mean for him. So, yeah, 6th place, Chamber of Secrets. There we go. For the next one, I feel like I'm kind of cheating because 4 and 5 are a tie. I couldn't decide, y'all. So, in the 4th and 5th positions, I don't know where they really fall, is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, so book 3, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, book 4. I talked to my husband a lot about this last night because he really likes Goblet of Fire and he thinks that it's a big step ahead of Prisoner of Azkaban. But The Prisoner of Azkaban was my favorite Harry Potter book for years when I was a kid. Probably until the 6th book came out. Yeah, I was like in the 4th and 5th grade waiting for the 6th Harry Potter book to come out, and that whole time, The Prisoner of Azkaban was my favorite. I really enjoyed it. I think that like there's a lot of action. Meeting Sirius Black is so cool, and like Harry getting a father figure was awesome. The twist that happens in the Shrieking Shack, like I remember being so thrown out of whack by what was going on in there. I was like in the 3rd grade trying to wrap my head around all the events that were unfolding. And anyway, I think The Prisoner of Azkaban is just really when J.K. Rowling hit her stride as an author. I'm so excited to read it again. But yeah, that is why it is tied with Goblet of Fire, because honestly, I don't know. It's been a long time since I have read those books, which brings me to my next point. The Goblet of Fire, for reasons unknown, I think it's just because it was a really long book and it's right smack dab in the middle of the series. For some reason, it's the book I've read the least. I had audiobooks for 5, 6, and 7 that I would listen to, so I'm more familiar with those two than I am Goblet of Fire. So I think that of all the books, I'm raising the rant stick for this, of all the books that I'm excited to read again, Goblet of Fire is my number 1, because I haven't read it in so long, and it's one I'm excited to see where it's going to fall on my ranking list once I'm finished with it, because it's been a while, guys. It has been a long time, and honestly, I don't like that movie very much, and that might be playing into this. But for now, it's tied with Prisoner of Azkaban for places 4 and 5 on the list. Wow. So we're in the top 3. We have covered Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire. We have those all in place. And if I had to guess, I'd expect this is how it is for a lot of people. I think the last 3 books are just so good. I know that there is some mixed feelings about the 5th one, so maybe that might not be in everyone's top 3, but yeah, top 3. Got them coming up, the last 3 books. It's kind of what I expect for a lot of you guys. I'm eager to see your comments. Please let me know what your ranking list is, because this is the part that I'm really interested in. In 3rd place, we have the Deathly Hallows. Which honestly, I think is a very underrated book. I had a pretty hard time placing this one also because I do really, really like it. It gets dicey up here in the top 3, I'll just say. It was hard to figure out where Deathly Hallows was gonna go because I think just because it's the last one, there's a lot of finality to it and maybe we don't see it as much as part of the main adventure as the rest of them, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I put it in number 3. I think that the ending of the book series is so wonderful. The Battle of Hogwarts. Oh my gosh, when me and my husband first started dating, first of all, he hadn't read the Harry Potter books. So that needed to change. So we had this big movie marathon at my parents' house where he and I sat down and we watched all 8 of the movies. But that wasn't enough for me because after we finished the last one, I pulled out, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we're still together because I'm a nerd and I'm glad that that didn't scare him away. But I pulled out the 7th Harry Potter book and I started with the chapter about Snape's memories because it's awesome. And I read from there to the end of the 7th book. I made him listen to it because at that point he knew what happened and I was like, you don't understand, like the books are way better. And he sat there patiently as I read him the end of the 7th Harry Potter book. So yeah, I love From Snape's Memories on in that book a lot. I think it's just such, oh my gosh, there's too many good things to say about it. So yeah. 3rd, Deathly Hallows. Okay, we're in the top 2 now. And I'm really worried about what you guys are gonna think about this because I know there's gonna be a lot of people that disagree with me, but I have my reasons and I will defend them, okay? Second place is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I love the 6th book. So like, I'm really excited to read Goblin of Fire simply because I haven't read it in a long time. Half-Blood Prince is the one that I am next most excited to read again because it's just such a good book, y'all. It's got everything in it. It has Harry, you know, he's gotten over his angst from the 5th book and he's kind of more so coming into who he is now as a young adult. You've got a lot of Quidditch fun, love. It's a dark book. I think that the movies, actually, the 6th movie doesn't do a very good job at portraying the tone of the 6th book because the 6th book has a lot of just dark, dreary stuff going on, a lot of fear, a lot of hard decisions for Harry, a lot of hard things that he learns. Like he learns that Snape is the one that told Voldemort about the prophecy and the reason Voldemort came after his parents. On another note, that is my least favorite thing that they left out of the movies. I can't get started on it, but yeah, I have no idea why they left that out. Anyway, yeah, the 6th book is great. You learn about Horcruxes in that book. You learn way more about Voldemort's life, which is another thing I'm mad about that they left out of the movie. You have a building of the relationship between Harry and Dumbledore, and it seems like Dumbledore trusts Harry a lot more. I think that the reader can feel that as well, and it's just really neat to see their relationship grow. You get Ginny and Harry getting together in that scene where Harry kisses her. Like, wow. Yeah. No matter what happens at the end of this, I think that Half-Blood Prince will be in my top 2. I don't know if it'll be number 1 or number 2, but we'll see. Because for right now, you can argue with me all you want. I know a lot of you will disagree with this because some people hate the 5th book. The 5th book is my number 1. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix is the winner for me. And actually, this is the book that I had as a kid. You can tell it is just like, it doesn't look too great because I was reading it like in the 4th and 5th grade and through middle school and high school and however many times I read it. It's all like threadbare. I'm so glad I still have this. And I even have my name written in the front. Oh my gosh. I mean, look at that. Look at that little, oh God. So yeah, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix is my favorite Harry Potter book. The secret is out. And you know, it wasn't my favorite for a long time. It was still like in my top 3 pretty consistently because I just think there's just a ton of cool stuff that happens in it. But it didn't become my favorite until I was in college and I listened to the audiobook again. And if you haven't read the Harry Potter books in a long time, first, I hope you're reading along with us because that would be really fun. But even if you don't want to do that, I would highly suggest rereading Order of the Phoenix. Especially if you've only read the series once, Going back and reading that one again, it's just really special. And I'll give a couple of reasons why it's my favorite. First, a lot of people don't like seeing Harry's angst. Harry is really mad in this book. I think there's a page in here where it's like all caps for a while because he's screaming at Ron and Hermione. So yeah, Harry's going through a lot of stuff. But honestly, I like that about this book because coming off of the fourth, he's just seen Cedric Diggory die. Voldemort has come back from the dead or whatever, and the government is like out to get him, and no one believes him and Dumbledore. It's like him and Dumbledore alone on this island of thinking that Voldemort's back. So if he weren't upset about this, I wouldn't think he'd be a very realistic character, honestly. Plus he's 15 years old. It's just so fitting, I think, the way that she wrote him in this. You can get mad at the things he gets mad about, but I think it just really helps us to see what this kid was going through at this point in his life. I think it's cool to see Harry struggle with these things, and through it, we get to see him grow from it. You also get a lot about Harry's relationship with Sirius in this. I think that Sirius Black is almost glorified in the movies and among the fandom. And I love Sirius Black, but you get to see him as a legitimate, genuine person also. He's not a very good father figure, and some of you might disagree with that, but you know, Sirius himself went through a lot when he was in Azkaban for like 13 years, and he has a lot of struggles and a lot of ghosts that haunt him from that time, and you get to see those in this book too. You get to see him almost be upset that Harry didn't get expelled because he feels so alone. Like, he wants someone there with him, even if it hurts Harry. And I think it's just a very like stark, honest thing for us to see from an adult. Gosh, I'm really getting into this. I think just when it comes down to it, this book is the one that's the most real to me, where you get to really see into what makes a person who they are, getting into their psyche. We meet the most hated character in the series, Professor Umbridge, who almost makes this book not my most favorite just because I hate reading about her. It gives us a view into a villain who isn't really larger than life. Like, Voldemort is larger than life to me, while Professor Umbridge, we might all have a Professor Umbridge in our life somewhere, or people who copy some of her mannerisms and the way she thinks, the way she treats people. I think, too, like I said, this book is the most real for me, and I think it's where we get the most real villain also. And last, this is my number one reason for why this is my number one book, is, man, we're gonna get deep. It's the way Harry has to encounter death. So, like I said, in Goblin of Fire, he has seen Cedric Diggory die, but he hasn't really had to confront those feelings yet. They're just kind of torturing him there. He just has a lot hanging over him from what he experienced in the graveyard. But then Sirius's death happens in this book, and honestly, Sirius's death killed me as a kid. Harry has to deal with Sirius's death on a very real level. And my favorite part of the book comes after Sirius dies, after the conversation with Dumbledore, when Harry is getting ready to go down to the end of year feast. He doesn't want to go, he's packing up. He tries to talk to Sirius through the mirror, the two-way mirror, and he tries and Sirius doesn't answer, and he just like shatters it. Oh my gosh. And then he goes and he finds Nearly Headless Nick to ask him, like, you know, could Sirius come back as a ghost? And just having to see a kid deal with death in a children's book series is, I think it's really insightful for us as adults, because I think a kid could read this book and not be traumatized by Harry having to wrestle with, like, what is the afterlife? You know, when people die, are they really gone forever? Because Rowling writes it in such a way that it's from Harry's perspective, so kids can relate. It's not too heavy. But if you're an adult and you're reading it, you can kind of see through all the things that Harry is thinking, and it's just brilliant. And then comes my favorite part. He's all down because he has talked to Nearly Headless Nick, and he comes across Luna Lovegood. Harry, as he's talking with her, the book says that he almost feels like this weight being lifted, or these feelings that he has, and they're replaced by something else, some sort of light. And we find out that it's Harry's compassion, like during dark times and during tragedy, helping others and compassion is what brings him out of it and centers him. And I think it's so special. And then you have this conversation with Luna where she knows what he's going through. She's lost someone, and she says, like, they were just on the other side of the veil. Like, you heard them. We'll see them again someday. They're there. And I just think it is a very powerful way for a children's author to write about death, and I think it is fantastic. So yeah, that is why Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix is my favorite, but that could very well change. Like I have said over and over, I am going to rank these again at the end of the series and let you know if my opinions have changed, if they flip-flopped. I imagine some of them will. I imagine at that point I'll be able to break the tie between Goblet of Fire and Prisoner of Azkaban. In summary, here is the list. Number 1, Order of the Phoenix. Number 2, Half-Blood Prince. 3, Deathly Hallows. 4 and 5, Goblet of Fire and Prisoner of Azkaban. 6, Chamber of Secrets. 7, Sorcerer's Stone. That is my ranking. Let me know if you agree with me. I imagine many of you won't, and that's okay. Like, that's what this is for. These are all great books, and so I love having debates and talks about this. So please leave your list in the comments. Let me know what you think, and I'm going to be getting prepared to release chapters 1 and 2 of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban coming very soon. I'm excited to get back into it. Thanks for joining me today. I've talked for way longer than I thought I was going to. I thought this would be a short video, but when we're talking about Harry Potter, is that really possible? I mean, come on. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great week. Bye.